Hello, it is week 5, and we are talking about parenting this week. And combining this week with parenting, we're also talking a little bit about family diversity, but more specifically, socioeconomic diversity. So we'll be talking about families, parents, and children who live in poverty. More than we will some other things. There will be some supplemental readings if you're interested in other populations. For the sake of time and as short as this class seems, we kind of have to narrow it down a little bit. What we're going to talk about in this lecture, which is going to lead to an assignment for you, is we're going to talk a little bit more about parenting styles. In the chapter that you had to read, you read about dominating parents, rescue parents, mentoring parents. I'm going to share with you 4 different parenting styles that are a little more, the terminology is used more in the professional fields that I've worked within that you've probably heard of too. And so we're going to talk about parenting styles and the effects that those parenting styles have on children and how that impacts later on in life as well. We are also going to talk a little bit about this ACEs questionnaire. Hopefully you filled this out by now. If you haven't, you need to pause right now and then go fill out this ACE questionnaire. That is uploaded should be on this assignment. And the other thing we're going to talk about is the universal needs list. And I'm just going to refer to that. I'm not going to go over all of this stuff really specifically. I just want you to know that we're going to combine all of these things because what I want you to be thinking about throughout this is how have these things impacted who you are today? And that's what I want you to begin to think about. The parenting style you experienced, the universal needs that you have, and maybe the different traumas that you've experienced in your life. How has that impacted you today? So let's jump in on the parenting styles. And so you can see that I have uploaded a PowerPoint here. And so you have this PowerPoint so that you can refer back to it in case you kind of miss some of the details and need to go back while you're doing your homework. The first parenting style that we're going to talk about is authoritarian. Authoritarian parents often expect their children to follow strict rules. It's my way or the highway. This is the way we do it. It's because I said so. Is typically the response when you're given a rule or when you have to follow something. It's because I said so. Reasons aren't given, you're just expected to follow the rules. If you don't follow the rules, then punishment usually occurs. So there is a punishment for breaking the rules. And these parents are usually pretty controlling and power-oriented. Very sometimes military style is what people think about. Oftentimes they use verbal threats with their children or spanking. Okay, spanking is oftentimes used. So how this affects the child then. So as we go through this, we'll talk about the parenting style and then we'll talk about how it affects the child who lives with that parenting style as the dominant person or dominant parenting style within their family. So these children often have a tendency to be very obedient children. They're often very good at what they do. They're proficient. Sometimes they're perfectionist. And oftentimes they view the parent as the enemy. Their parent is more their enemy than any other kind of view. They may be confused about what is right or wrong because they don't understand why something is supposed to be done or not supposed to be done because it's not explained to them. It's just the way the parent says it's supposed to be. Usually they have kind of decreased levels of happiness and self-esteem compared to children who do not have authoritarian parents. And so that's kind of one of the implications for children who have authoritarian parents.